Welcome to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain.
Hello, everyone. Here is my disclaimer. Any information discussed in this interview may not be the views of the station or host. Please discuss any information with your primary care physician. Folks, you're going to want to listen to my podcast today. And I want to welcome you to Chatting with Betsy. I am Betsy Wurzel, your host on Passionate World Talk Radio, where we educate, enlighten, and entertain. You're going to hear two Jersey girls today, so get ready. A lot of fast talking. My wonderful guest, Fran Pinoa, is a former geriatric LPN, a certified dementia care practitioner, creator of Movement, Music, and Memories, and she is director of Caregiver Support, which is a local nonprofit caregiver organization located in central New Jersey. And you know what, folks, sometimes we don't know about our own local resources here in New Jersey. I know I didn't know about my senior center till I needed it. So this is why I do what I do. It's to let people know about resources that are out there to help them. And I want to welcome Fran Pinoa to Chatting with Betsy. Welcome, Fran.
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much. What a nice introduction. I appreciate it. Really good to be here.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. Fran, I just discovered you, even though I connected with you 2 years ago on LinkedIn, but you are phenomenal, just phenomenal what you were doing. And I'd like for you to talk about how did you become this creator of movement, music, and memory? Sounds wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for the kind words. That's so nice of you. I do like to always tell everybody that I'm not the expert. I'm sort of what I always see as a student of the experts, and have been reading and learning about all things that have to do with, actually earlier on in my life, fitness and wellness. And then as I got older and was introduced to the world of, dementia care and aging through being an LPN, just learning everything I could about best practices in aging and dementia care. So that kind of all got put together. And about 10 years ago, I created an exercise program specifically geared towards people with mid to late stage dementia, and that is called Movement, Music, and Memories. And it encompasses all the things that over the years I've found to be the most valuable tools that we have, which is using familiar music, movement, especially when it's guided by music, and connection to memories and sense of self. And when those three things are put together in an hour-long program that I do, and it's multisensory, so we go from just moving slowly to dancing to using different props and balls and all sorts of things in that hour-long program that uses the music of the lives of the participants. So it can change depending on who the program is with. And it's a pretty magical hour. So I have been doing that on and off for 10 years, and now that it's post-COVID and I'm actually able to do it starting again, I've kind of reignited the energy and really improving things and doing a little bit more of it, and that's what I'm looking to do now in hopefully in the next 10 or 15 years, can really grow it, and maybe, who knows, someday have a location where I can not only offer the dementia-friendly fitness and wellness, but a place where maybe people that with earlier stages can come and have a separate program and all sorts. My mind's been going since since COVID we finally got a little bit of more freedom of what we can do with people face to face, and yeah, that's it. So it's been a little over 10 years.
Wow, that is wonderful. Now, do you go into facilities?
Yes.
Or okay, you do in facilities. Okay.
Yeah, so this specific program for that middle to later stage is done in a facility. So it would be in an adult daycare center, in an assisted living or a memory care community, that type of thing. Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. Do you also do it by Zoom by any chance, like for individuals?
You know, I've thought about it over the years. How would I be able to do that? I see a lot of challenges in the way my program is so hands-on that I haven't gotten to the point where I could figure out how to do it remotely, and also, using the way the type of music that I'm going to use is music that we're singing to together, so that while we're moving, we're also singing out loud, which has its own benefits. And if something was done remotely, then there's an issue with how would I get the music. So I haven't gotten to that. I haven't gotten to that yet, but that's always been on the horizon. How do I do this remotely? So, we'll see what happens.
I always give people like, an idea off the top of my head. Something else for you to do, as if you don't already have enough.
Yeah. No, but that's always been a thought. And with technology, who knows? Maybe I'd be lucky someday to get somebody with that technological kind of thinking, and get some kind of a grant to do something that we'd be able to actually do it properly, using technology. I'm sure there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way.
I think that's wonderful, going in to the different facilities to do this exercise and music. Exercise has been shown to even, like, I don't want to say slow down the progression, but it helps the more you do movement.
Yeah. Absolutely, and even for any of us, and people with early memory loss, that's trying to find ways to hopefully maybe delay onset of some symptoms or delay Alzheimer's at all. There's a lot of research about real exercise being one of the things that can reduce risk. So that's a little bit different. So yes, certain exercise, if done properly. There's study after study. I have a lot of that information on my website. That there's a lot of studies showing that exercising can help reduce risk for dementia. Someone with dementia, what exercise does, or any kind of, just think about sitting all day and how you feel if you haven't gotten up off your chair for 4 hours. Your body's aching. You're already not feeling well. Well, someone with dementia, besides that they're dealing with the challenges of dementia, they're also going to deal with the challenges of inactivity as well, or anything else that's going on in their life. So if we can have somebody move safely for an hour to music, singing at the same time, being challenged cognitively, igniting all their senses, then maybe we can help their day be a little bit better. Maybe they won't be as achy that day, or maybe they'll just be happy because they were able to sing words to a song they hadn't sang in a long time, because the magic does happen. I can start a circle with maybe half the people participating, and it's not a big circle because we really have to be able to connect, maybe 10, and maybe some people will not be paying attention as much in the beginning. I also pay attention to every detail, including what I'm wearing, because people with dementia, for the most part, need contrast to see properly. And if I want them to watch and do what I'm doing with my feet, then I need to wear bright red or bright orange shoes so it's in contrast with the floor. So when I say feet and I'm tapping my toes, they're watching my feet, they'll tap their toes. It's an amazing phenomenon. And as the circle goes on and the participation grows, the energy, the connection, by the end of it, everybody's singing, everybody's moving together. It's an amazing phenomenon, really. So all of these things
is awesome.
Yeah, so we know that these things work. It's a matter of really paying attention to detail. So I also would offer this as time as COVID allows over the next year, a one-on-one in people's homes. I would visit someone in their home and do a program with them. Of course, adapt it to being one-on-one, but that's definitely something that's in my offerings too.
Oh, that is so wonderful, Francine, and it's been proven about music, how music helps. I mean, I've seen so many videos about that. I know with my own husband, I saw how music helped him. I tell this story. The last time I went to the dentist, I said, put on Johnny Cash. Put on Johnny Cash, you won't have a problem. And she did. She put on Johnny Cash, and that was pretty good, for the most part with that. And, it just, I think it helps revive their brain.
Oh, well, that's for sure. I mean, there's a lot of science behind that as well. And, we've talked about this in the past. There was a film, Alive Inside. It was a documentary. Came out about, I think that was 2016 or something. I don't remember the date. But it's a wonderful documentary. You can still catch it on YouTube or on Amazon Prime. And it's all about the power of music, how it connects people with dementia to their sense of self and their memories. And it can literally brighten up your brain, anybody's brain. So there's lots of research about that too. Anybody's brain on music does better. Music for Medicine there's a lot of organizations in England and Australia that are really dedicated to that. Those are also links on my website for when we do share that. Wonderful thing to read a little bit about, because all of us are affected by the power of music, right? If we go for a walk and we put on a song that we like, we're going to walk to that beat of that song. It literally gets you moving when you don't feel like moving. It literally lightens up and energizes your brain. When you're learning music, say you're learning an instrument or you're dancing or you're doing things to the music, that is even more advantageous to your brain. It even helps your brain more. So for anybody, it does those things. For someone with dementia, because the way music is stored in our brain when we're processing it, from the music from our entire life. If you think about it, it's a soundtrack. There's always music in your life. From the time you were born, your parents are singing to you. There's TV shows with music. Disney is part of almost all of our lives, right? We hear an old Disney song. We remember being a kid. That feeling of feeling yourself in a place you were when you heard music doesn't go away, because our brain processes music all over our brain. So when maybe a part of your brain is damaged, there's other parts that can take the place and form those connections. It's also connected to your experiences. It's connected to your senses, to what you're seeing, what you heard, what you were maybe even smelling when you were processing the music. So those things all help bring back the memories associated with the song. So it's not just remembering the words of a song you hadn't heard in 40 years, but literally feeling yourself where you were while you're singing the words to a song you haven't heard in 40 years. And no matter how far into dementia somebody is, I've been with people that no matter what, they're nonverbal, they're just sitting around, they're not reacting anymore. And when the right song is found, that song, they're there with you. It's an amazing phenomenon, and that brightening, that lighting up, sometimes will last for them for a while afterwards. That activation of the brain during that time. Does it cure anything? No, it's not curing anything, but it sure is making a difference in someone's life while they're enjoying it.
Absolutely. I found incredibly I was just baffled. I mean, this Alzheimer's just baffles me. Yes. Matt could not write his name, but Fran, I've heard him hum a song.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Incredible.
That he would.
It really.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That he would hum a song.
Yeah, it's incredible, and how since that person probably maybe couldn't verbalize how it's making them feel, you're literally giving somebody their sense of self back. So when I experience it, I mean, it's what makes me keep doing this. It's such an amazing phenomenon to see someone so in tune with you because of a song. I mean, it helps people connect. It helps children visit their grandparents who maybe have dementia, or their family members, and they don't know what to say. Well, let's put on a Sinatra song, and now at least you're enjoying something common. It's just amazing, and I love what you said about going to the dentist. Wearing a headset and going to a doctor's or going somewhere that the person's maybe a little fearful of, if the right music is playing and that's what you're focusing on, then other distractions can take a back seat and maybe help that person stay calm enough to do whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yes, and I also have to say that my dad, he loved the big swing era. and he was in a nursing facility down in Manchester. I forgot the name of it. You've probably been in there, but I can't think of the name of it. It's by ShopRite on 70. And what's it called? I can't think. Well, they might have changed the name of it.
It could have been Aristocare, but they changed the name, so I'm not sure. But I know which one you mean. It's right by the ShopRite.
Oh, okay. Yes. My dad was there, and I don't think they had a music program at that time because he was there from 2008 to 2012. But my mom brought him a phonograph and played his music. And that calmed him. Yeah, they calmed him. They played his music all the time. And, as far as it is great. As far as exercise goes, I'll never forget this. And it's 12 years ago already when Matt was first diagnosed. One neurologist said to Matt, walk, break out into a sweat. She said, exercise is the best thing you can do for your brain, better than any pill I can prescribe for you. Yes.
And
he did walk.
She's right. That's exactly right. That's why if we all just really, really forced ourselves to walk every day, real walking, like you said, to breathing enough where you have, you can still talk, but you're breathing. For anybody to do that every day, it's the best exercise ever. And there's a lot of research about neuroplasticity and exercise it's like a real thing. So, that's we all need to force ourselves to do that if we can. Even 3 times a week, they say. They also say the research does not say you need to run a marathon. It really is about, taking that 15-minute walk 2 times a day or 3 times a week, something like that, and just to keep moving and move all your muscles in your body every day, even if it's just, reaching and like simple stuff, Sitting is they say sitting is like the new cigarettes. It's the worst thing you could do for yourself is sitting all day.
Yes, that's true. You got to, I know I got to get up and move, even though I
know we have to say, okay, just get up.
Yes. We do so much work at our phones or computers, and you don't realize, here you are sitting there for an hour or two, your eyes bugging out, right? You get antsy. You have to get up and move around. I liked what you said, Fran, about the contrast and wearing red or orange shoes, because they also say to give someone who has dementia a red plate to see contrast.
Yes. So because the occipital lobe, the way in the back of your brain, which kind of is in charge of vision, the person loses contrast for for everything, and depth perception too, and peripheral vision. So when that's why they use different color plates. So it wouldn't have to only be red. If it's red on a white table and the food on top of the red plate is light colored, like say mashed potatoes, then the person's more apt to be able to get that signal to their brain that it's time to eat the mashed potatoes if they can see them. But if we have a white table, white plates, white glass, milk, white food, then the things that trigger us to want to eat, that get our appetite going is not going to happen because that person's brain's not processing it. Some people use that contrast as a tool, like, helping someone to get ready, say in a bathroom, and they don't want to brush their teeth or whatever it is. If there's a whole lot of stuff on the counter and there's what they need to see is not visible, it's going to be harder for them to get that signal. Again, brushing your teeth. It's better if you have like a white toothbrush on a blue counter, right, with one white towel, and it's easy to see, so that when we are prompting someone to pick it up and use it, their brain is able to get that visual stimulation to get them to maybe do it easier. So that's why I use everything in contrast of what I'm wearing, including shoes on my shirt, everything that I'm doing. So hopefully they'll watch me because I need them to see me to do the movements. Since someone with dementia is not going to be able to take too much fast conversation. Like you and I can talk pretty quickly. I imagine if we were together out, we would be racing for an hour. We talk, both of us are talking excited and fast. Can't do that. has to be really slow and controlled and not as many words, right? Less words.
Right.
So they have to watch me, so I get them to watch me by the colors that I'm using. Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I noticed as, Matt progressed, I had to make sure he was looking at me and talk slow, make sure that I was talking slow, which I used to do them because of working with children. But it's just all these things are fascinating. And I learned a lot, in caregiver groups. And I had the old-fashioned type bathroom where you have to step into the bathtub. And I would help Matt get into the bathtub, but his vision was immediately affected. Yeah. But as he progressed, I was thinking, like, what can I do so he could see the bathtub, which was white, and someone suggested getting a hot pink bathtub mat.
Oh, they did.
So he could see it. Yes. So I did, and then he was able to see it. So these are the, little things. Yes,
little things
that you learn.
Yep. Little simple things. Another simple thing, I don't know if in research, Teepa Snow is a wonderful, worldwide expert, and she was one of the first. Many years ago, saw her at an Alzheimer's Association conference before there was no website. It was just her doing a PowerPoint presentation. She was amazing. And that was the first I heard about that, the way she explained it so well. And the other thing she really explains well, and it really comes into play, is the loss of peripheral vision as someone's dementia is getting worse. And at some point, it becomes like as if you have binoculars in front, and then eventually almost like so it's just seeing one monocular, so that when you think of that always coming from the front to approach somebody, which we should do with everybody anyway, and always make sure that you're smiling and you're coming close to them and letting them accept you before you come into someone else's space. And when she talked about the peripheral vision part of it and how they're really not noticing what's on the sides, you see so many times, especially maybe in a fast environment like in a nursing home when people, there's a lot of movement and staff's doing a lot of things, maybe coming from the side and saying, Mr. Jones, and like touching somebody on the shoulder before they know that you're there. You can see why there might be a reaction to that, right? We would all be that way. Right. If someone, so that was like one of those aha moments for me. It explains a lot. Yeah.
Oh, Fran, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I had an aha moment with Teepa Snow talking about that, because I didn't know, at the time, it would drive me crazy. Matt would say, "Where's my water?" And like, it's right in front of you. And I had it in a bright, colored holder. And it was after I heard Teepa Snow talk about vision and how they only see so much, like in front or on the side, that I stopped busting Matt about that, because I couldn't figure out, why are you sitting on top of folded clothes? Don't you see them? And then I realized, no, he does not. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see the fork or the water. And, I even explained this. Would you believe I even had to explain this to the eye doctor?
I know nobody. I know.
It's not it wasn't. People think, change the eyeglass prescription. It had nothing to do with that. It was the brain.
No, it was the brain. Yeah, there's
It was the brain.
There's a lot of education to be had in the United States about it. But people, advocates like Teepa, who are going all over the place. A lot more people are learning. A lot more and more people are starting to learn. So that's a really good thing.
Yes. I even told the doctor, you need to listen to Teepa and watch that video. I said, because I know it's the brain, and it's really it's just such a baffling disease. My neurologist says, even neurologists find it baffling. There's no rhyme or reason. How this disease goes. And I forgot to mention, this is very important, I forgot to mention it, you are also creator of Dementia Living Solutions.
Yeah, and that's my business that I run the exercise program, Movement and Memories out of. So that's the actual name of the business. It's called Dementia Living Solutions. And my website has a lot of information, and just really updated it the past 6 months because I'm really just about ready to kind of sort of relaunch after, a few years of not doing much, especially then COVID hit. So I'm excited about that moving forward, seeing if we can do more and more good if we can.
Yes. I have to ask you this, Fran. Do you offer counseling for family members?
Well, no, I don't do that at all. So my business, this is just a small business that I've been doing on the side. This is really just about wellness and fitness and sharing maybe other sort of dementia-friendly business partners that I have. That's what that's for. I am the director of caregiver support at a nonprofit. That's my regular job, and it's called Caregiver Volunteers of Central Jersey. We're a nonprofit that is dedicated to helping seniors over the age of 60 in Ocean and Monmouth County who no longer drive with supportive services to keep people living at home. The programs that I run are for caregivers. So we have a specialized respite and actually we manage volunteers to do the services for the people in the community because there's no charge. We're here as a service organization, and although we are not providing counseling services, our respite managers through our Alzheimer's respite program are both care managers. They're both very educated in helping people, caregivers really, manage the resources that are available. And we provide volunteers that will spend up to 3 hours a week in the home of someone with that's a caregiver of someone with dementia or other chronic illness. They're trained and socializing with the person that's the receiver, the person with dementia, and to be a shoulder to cry on really for the caregiver, and to allow them to get out of the house for 3 hours a week. And that's our biggest encouragement. And once we go through a match process with the right volunteer, with the right family. Once we've matched that receiver and they've been introduced and the person starts their visits, over time, these family members really depend on that weekly visit. For some of them, that's the only break they're getting every week. And then oftentimes we're a first line of starting to see that it's okay to get some help. And oftentimes we're sharing resources and support, especially through the county offices on aging, who we partner a lot with, on doing things like getting a social worker, getting some services in that then we can get them a social worker to provide some counseling. But we're not doing that. We're just hooking them up with the services that almost people just, the maze of how to get support is very difficult to navigate. And so that's what our care managers do in the office, besides making the matches and following up on the matches moving forward. We've had volunteers who have spent years visiting one family. So they really become part of the family, and the people with dementia are so comfortable because they go every week, a social visit, playing cards or whatever that person likes, using music, right, using art, reminiscing, looking at old photos, whatever it is that they find works with that person with dementia. And then that caregiver really feels comfortable enough to leave the house, to go out, do something for yourself. We always say, please, I know that you have errands to do, but stop at Panera Bread and have a cup of coffee by yourself, or go to the library, go get a massage, if they live in a community, get yourself to the clubhouse maybe, or have tea with somebody, see your family. So our encouragement is to have them do something for themselves to reduce the stress of that 24/7 caregiving, and to also sometimes be the catalyst to maybe them getting a little more help after that. Maybe it's okay to have somebody come in twice a week to help with activities of daily living. Oh, maybe a day or two in an adult daycare center would be good too. And now we have a life change, right? They went from 24/7 to at least having some semblance of a weekly routine, and that happens very, very often over time, that we can help them see that it's okay to get a little bit of help and to still manage at home. So that's our goal.
Oh, absolutely. That is awesome. Now, is this new, Fran? Because we've been here for 30 years.
Wow. It's our 30-year anniversary in the spring.
Oh, see, this is why I love doing what I'm doing. And this is why I love to meet people like you, Fran, because, see, this is a resource in New Jersey that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And how many other people don't know? Because I was thinking, like, when my dad was diagnosed, I think in 2008, I didn't hear of this. I didn't know about it. This would have been a great resource for my father.
Yeah. Now, our Alzheimer's Respite Care program is in Ocean and Monmouth County. However, we started as an interfaith organization, which is how we do a lot. We do a lot of our recruiting through faith-based communities, in senior communities. A lot of our volunteers are early retirees, and there are some similar organizations to ours in other parts of the state. Our Alzheimer's Respite Care program was identified as a best practice. So this is a little unusual, but there are some other structured volunteer-based respite programs in other parts of the state too. I think Mercer County. I think there's one in Middlesex County too. Not exactly what we're doing, but through some of the other resources like care2caregivers.org, you can get other resources, or Alzheimer's Association, to see what organizations, because sometimes there's organizations you wouldn't even know of that are doing similar type things, because respite is a key ingredient in managing life at home with dementia for a family caregiver. So
yes, my parents lived in Ocean County. They lived in Manchester.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you just said that. Yeah, so that's right. So we could have helped you. Yep, we have a lot of receivers in Manchester. Oh my gosh, you just said that.
I know. That would have been wonderful for my mom. My mom tried to take care of my dad at home after he fractured his hip. But she couldn't, and she wasn't getting, the help didn't show up, and she eventually had to place him. Within a week, she placed him.
Well, and we're providing no hands-on care, though. So if we have some family that calls and they don't know what else to do, and they get our number from a social worker, say, from the county or from the VNA or something, we'll do a home assessment. But there's things that we can't do since it's just a volunteer for a social visit. So oftentimes when someone has dementia or someone's really, really aging and they break a hip and they're immobile and they need that kind of help, that's usually one of the times when it's almost impossible to take care of them at home, and how, especially for another elderly person, you can't be lifting and moving. So, there's a place for long-term care. We need long-term care. We need long-term care to step it up a little bit and start, really taking the lead from other countries in the world in terms of changing the culture of how we see our care for our elders as they age when they can't be home anymore. And for some families, it's a decision that is so hard for them to make because they, promise I would never do that. They feel like they're doing something to their loved one, where there's times when that's what is needed. Like sometimes you have no choice. If you can't safely care for somebody at home, then we need to have good alternatives.
Yes, absolutely, Fran. I tell people all the time, don't promise your loved one that you will not place them, because we don't have a crystal ball.
No.
We don't know what will happen to us, what will happen to them. And
exactly.
You just don't know. And another thing, Fran, is that people think, I failed my loved one. I broke my promise. No. I'm a failure. You're not a failure. No. Some people need more help than what we could give them. Doesn't make you a failure. Yeah.
And everybody, that is such a great message. I'm so happy that we are on the same wavelength with a lot. But I'm so happy that that's your message, because that is such a huge message for everybody. With the number of those of us who are getting older now, now's the time to think about it. And that, you tell your loved one, I'll do my best for you. I promise you that. That's what you say, because everybody's best changes. We can only do what we can do, but we can make that promise. I promise I'll do my best no matter what happens.
Exactly, and that's what I promised Matt, because Matt would say, I don't, want to go to a facility. I'll run away. I'd run away.
No, of course.
I'd kill myself, and but And I told him, I cannot promise you that, but I can promise you. I told him this in 2017. I said, I will promise you, some way, somehow, I'm telling your story to the world. And, of course, he said, don't talk about me. And here I am, talking about him all the time.
Oh, that's wonderful. See, he's still here. He's still here with us.
Yes, very much here in spirit. And I just, I love meeting people like you, Fran. We're on the same wavelength. You're a tremendous resource, and I really want to encourage people, do you live in New Jersey and you're hearing this? Mm-hmm. Contact Fran. And, I'm sure you refer people to other areas if they're not in your, Ocean or Monmouth County. I mean, a wonderful resource, and I can't thank you enough for coming on. You're just fabulous.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed our conversations. It was really, really great. And please, especially email. Shoot me an email. I'll always be able to return that and share other resources with you. Absolutely, please. I have a Facebook page. Caregiver Volunteers has a Facebook page. Dementia Living Solutions has a Facebook page as well. So, shoot me a note. Say hi.
And please give your website, Fran. I'm just going to be in the blog, but you can announce it.
Sure. So my business website is www.dementialivingsolutions.com, and Caregiver Volunteers of Central Jersey, our website is caregivervolunteers.org.
Thank you so much. And did you want to give your email or not? It's up to you.
Well, sure. You can get the email from either one, but my email for Dementia Living Solutions is the same. It's fran@dementialivingsolutions.com, and the email at Caregiver Volunteers is franp@caregivervolunteers.org.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Oh, sure.
Fran, for coming on. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on. Yay for New Jersey.
Yes, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. You're so kind.
You're welcome. Got to help my Jersey gals out.
There you go.
And help out the people in New Jersey. And, I always say I'm truly blessed and grateful to be a host on Passion World Talk Radio and to do what I do. And chatting with Betsy, I tell the audience all the time, it's not about me, it's about helping people. And that's why I ask people, share this podcast to help someone else. Yeah. Me doing my show is my way of paying it forward. I promised Matt I would carry on. And when you all share the podcast, you're helping me keeping my promise to Matt. So please do it in Matt's memory to share this podcast. Thank you so much, and I'm telling the audience that too. And if you missed any of this podcast, you can catch it again wherever you hear your favorite podcast. It's free to subscribe to Chatting with Betsy, and I highly recommend subscribing. I am on Speaker, Spotify, Apple, and many other platforms, Amazon. So many platforms I'm on, and, I just want to help people. That's my mission and my vision is to help people. I wish, Fran, you're a perfect example. I wish I knew about the resource, and maybe it could have helped my mom when she was caregiving for my dad. And so did I know this resource? I didn't know about my senior center. A pharmacist, my local pharmacist told me about my senior center. So we don't know.
You're right. We have to share as much as we can. Absolutely. That's what we have to do. That's what we do. We have to help each other in the world. So whatever kind of resources we can share, I applaud you. This is great that you're doing this, and I'll be sure to share this. I didn't realize you were on so many platforms. That's so exciting.
Yes, I am. And Passion World Talk Radio, the station itself, is heard in over 147 countries. So people don't realize how big Passionate World Talk Radio is. And, yes, I always plug because it's wonderful radio internet station. I didn't know anything about it. I'm very grateful and blessed. I met Jeannie White, the station manager of Passionate World Talk Radio, who discovered me 4 years ago, and I can't thank Jeannie enough. And I want to thank Jeannie White, the station manager, because she does the blog, she produces the show, and I want to thank Lillian Caldwell, who's CEO of Passionate World Talk Radio, who makes this all possible. And I say Jeannie White discovered me, and Lillian Caldwell got me out of my comfort zone.
That's great. Fantastic.
To interview many different types of people, and I just very grateful. And I have to do a public service announcement, folks. This is the last day of June, and you'll hear this sometime in July, which I can't believe how fast this year is going. But if you're looking for a support group, I have one, #KICK, Alzheimer's Ass Movement. You don't have to be a caregiver, but we, to learn to be a caregiver, to learn to be an advocate for information and knowledge is power, then my support group is for you. This is Gay Pride Month. I don't discriminate in my group. All walks of life are welcome, and I want the gay community to know that, the LGBTQ plus community to know you are welcome, and #KICK, Alzheimer's Ass Movement. And I also want to say Alzheimer's is the number 6 killer. Please learn about this disease. And if you're not a caregiver, let me tell you something. Either you will need one or you will be one. Learn now. Have plans in place, because I'm a baby boomer. As we age, we're going to need this knowledge, and knowledge is power. So I want to thank you all for listening, sharing this podcast, sharing this show. And as I always say at the end of my show, in a world where you could be anything, to please be kind and be a blessing to each other too. We need it in this world today. And I just want to thank everyone. Thank you. Just big thanks. And if I could give a virtual hug to the world, I would. And and that's what I have to say today. And I want to thank you again, Fran Pinoa, for coming on. You're just wonderful. And folks, check out Fran. Information will be in the blog, so please read the blog. You're going to want to contact Fran Pinoa, especially if you live in New Jersey. So thank you, Fran, for what you do.
And thank you. Thank everyone for listening.
Thank you. So, folks, this is Betsy Wurzel, your host of Chatting with Betsy on Passionate World Talk Radio. We'll chat again soon. Bye-bye now.
Are you looking for an internet talk radio station for your podcast? Look no further. At the helm of Passionate World Talk Radio are 2 women that want to provide a spot for you and your podcast to be heard. There are many other places for your podcast, but PWTR has the audience. You will not be disappointed. Our station has been on the internet for the past 16 years. Call us for more information. 484-364-1032 or text Jeannie White, station manager, at PHECONNECTSHOW@gmail.com for podcast show details. Thank you for listening to Passionate World Talk Radio. You can listen to this program all over again by going over to https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. You can also hear it on Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Alexa, AMFM247.com every Tuesday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and all the other podcast directories one can find on the internet.